Welcome back to another Cost Mentality Podcast, episode 20?
20.
For those of you who don't know, another Cost Mentality Podcast hosted by 3 law enforcement individuals who met in the police academy, 2 of which are United States veterans. Thank you, fellas, for your service. One of them who is also a father for the second time. Congratulations there, fella. Yep, recently.
I did it, Mom.
It still works. You could have said I did it, Dad.
I'm for sure Dad would high five everyone.
Yeah, this is true.
For those of you who don't know, another Cost Mentality Podcast is really about breaking the stigmas around mental health, suicide, just trying to normalize speaking about the mundane topics or the topics that people are too afraid to speak about, and trying to have other law enforcement veterans, parents, and everyday Joe Schmo feel a little more comfortable that 3 people who are active, again, in law enforcement are able to have these conversations outright to show that you can do it and you can seek help. And kind of segueing off that is today's topic is really going to kind of drive around social media, something that runs, I think, pretty much almost everybody's life. We obviously have our own social medias, and then we have our social media for another Cost Mentality Podcast. And our TikTok actually has one video that's 32.5 or 6,000 interactions or views, whatever it is, which is pretty cool. And I love some of the responses because it goes right off of today's topic, because people outright are, I can't speak about things because I will be targeted, or it's just not that easy, or whatever their excuse is. And
I wouldn't call it an excuse, because their excuse may be an excuse to us, but that might be their reality.
It could be, but to me, I look at it as an excuse because you're using that I don't want to face backlash at work, so I'm not going to talk about it. Well, then you're not helping yourself. Yeah. So remember, we've talked about this before, where the job shouldn't be your life.
Yeah.
And I think people are too afraid to lose the job because they have made it their life. And the whole thing, I bring this up just because this is all derived off social media. Almost like a positive for social media, because it's bringing a lot of people together, right? 35 point whatever thousand. People are seeing it, reading it. I've had good conversations with people. Hey, I'm here if you ever want to speak. I'm ES from this. I'm K9 from this. I did 15 years from this, which is pretty cool, right? Opens up the conversation. But a lot of times we use it as an out, a mind-numbing agent, a bored agent, whatever you want to use it as. You know what I mean?
I think it's something we can all relate to, going to the bathroom. Right? For example, how boring is sitting on the toilet with no phone?
Oh, I had grabbed mine today. I had to take a shit, and the first thing I did was run in the bedroom, get my phone. I'm like, I'm not going to just sit there. I'm going to go on my phone and do something.
We can probably laugh about it, but the reality is that you read certain articles about the use of social media, and you're in the bathroom for like 30 seconds.
I have a question for you, just about the bathroom stuff. Have you ever caught yourself in the bathroom for like a half an hour while you're just sitting there on the toilet?
Yeah.
And you're just here, and you're like, well, I've been here like half an hour. Like, why am I still sitting down? Like,
how quick do your legs go numb, though?
Yeah, your ass.
So crazy.
My legs have been numb for 13 years.
Jen says it all the time, man.
It is true.
She's like, get off your fucking phone. You're out. You're just sitting on your phone. I'm like,
yeah.
It is so crazy because like time flies when you're on the phone, and specifically when you're in the bathroom. For some reason, like I could be sitting down and I'm like, I've been here for 20 freaking minutes just looking at absolutely nothing. I can't tell you that I was reading an article that was interesting. I can't tell you that I was doing some research on something that's important to me. Yep. It's absolutely junk.
Just endless scrolling. You could look
up. They
have
junk food now. They have junk videos to feed your eyes and your mind.
Think about why people were doing it. Obviously we're a little bit different of a generation. We had the Vine, we had MySpace, we had AOL, we had the dial-up. Somebody picks up the phone. Mom, get off the phone. I'm on the computer. You're in a chat room. Obviously,
when cell phones, like when you had to wait till 9 o'clock to use your minutes.
It
was like 9 o'clock. I call you at 9.
Exactly.
For free. I have 300 right now. I can't waste my 300.
Exactly.
That has to last me a whole month.
You saw how it went. You had the Nokias. You had all those things. You had to press the same button 15 times to get one letter. And then we went to the Sidekick. The Sidekick was more like a keyboard. Your BlackBerry. Yep. It's evolved throughout the time. And of course, obviously, technology is continuing to advance. You have what do you call those people? Influencers, right? You have social media influencers who are making money, You know, I have a couple friends that allegedly are making like millions of dollars, you know, posting videos.
We're in the wrong damn business.
We're the idiots.
Can you imagine, you know, making $5 million a year on just doing videos? I mean,
can I imagine? I can imagine.
$5 million.
I could imagine. I mean, I would love to.
I mean, I don't even know how the monetization thing goes.
One thing about me, I just hate social media. So it's like for me to utilize social media.
Angel hates social media. He hates group chats. He hates
Dude,
walks
group
on the
chats,
beach.
you are the best thing in the world.
I think, to be honest, there's a lot of things that I hate. So
Just add it to the list.
Let's not go down the list.
The reason why we kind of bring that topic up, I think, the social media is we've also heard it from some of our friends, and I can definitely vouch for the topic. You spend certain time on social media where you begin to think like that is your life. You're looking for the likes. You're looking for the comments. You're looking for validation. You're looking for things from strangers. And it seems like the more you spend time with your loved ones and your friends, you can piss those people off all day long. They know who the fuck you are, you know, but strangers don't know you. So there was a time in my rehabilitation where I felt like I was getting so much, you know, recognition and value and being put up on a certain pedestal, you know, thank you for your service. And, oh my God, you're doing this and you're doing that. And then I come home and I have these people tell me, you're fucking shit. You're nothing. Sit the fuck back down. You got Angel just kind of bring you back down to reality. So I think that if you don't, you're very good at that. You are good at that. And you know what? I think people need that because, you know, you do let yourself go down this rabbit hole and trying to create this whole different personality that only social media knows.
Matthias is like Tony Stark, just taking off to space, and then here I am. I'm like
Spider-Man.
I'm like,
Spider-Man.
Come back down.
I really like that analogy. I'm fucking going right up, and my fucking battery just dies.
I'm
You're like,
back down.
oh,
Where you going?
you know? Hey,
Right
you really do. And I think we all have friends that are like that, you know, that will kind of humble you and bring you down. And I'm grateful for that because you do begin to feel like you're somebody else when you're, you know, on social media. And then if you're anything like me, if you're gullible enough like me, you'll start to believe fucking everything on social media. I know that I've talked to you guys about that, you know, especially around the topic of mental health. You know, when I started dealing with a lot of anxiety, I was looking for answers on social media, you know, and who is the people on social media? Other people like me fucking Googling everything, you know, WebMD this, WebMD that. It's like that. We're going to have to post it.
But it's so funny because I remember you talking about your social media or like when you were going through like your worst times and you would talk to me about social media. You're like, all I see is depressing stuff. I was like, I don't know what you're looking for. What I find.
He pulls up his search. He pulls up his search engines like MMA and UFC.
It's not what you're looking at. So
it's your algorithm.
It's called confirmation bias. Like what you're looking for, you will find.
Yes.
So you're looking for something to validate whatever it is that you're thinking. And in his case, it was not good stuff.
Right.
I was like,
look at the new one now.
I said,
it's all baby stuff, all baby shit. You know, like God stuff, Costco.
It was just
I don't know what that one is.
It was depressing. I was like, bro, what are you looking at? And he started showing me. I was like, there's no way. I said, look at mine. Look at mine. Ass, tits, MMA. Like listen, there's a lot of stuff.
It's a nice algorithm.
I just showed Carol the other day. I go, look at this shit. This is all on social media. It's like,
I was wondering what the hell you were looking at in the kitchen a little while ago with this girl's thighs. And it was like, hey, baby, look. And some girl like going from little skinny thighs to like these huge, massive thighs. I was like, bro, what are you watching? And Carol's like, oh, look at that. You know, I was like, hey, that's a great relationship these two have. But imagine the person who, and we could talk about a little bit. We can talk a little bit about how we've all been there, you know, in a certain time in our life where we were seeking for something on social media where it did begin as your top 5 friends or 6 friends on MySpace. Right. You know,
I remember MySpace. People used to get so pissed.
They get butthurt. This person's been dropped. You've been dropped from my top 10. You didn't text me back.
That's how you knew somebody was in trouble, when they were no longer in the top 10.
Speaking of social media, one of my buddies sent me a meme. He goes, I'm going to start doing this. And it was like a 4 or 5 slide thing. This guy took a snapshot of a conversation, right, with like 6 of his buddies. And he goes, hey, Justin just dropped me off at the airport. He's now number 2. And he every time he had a rank system of like the top 6. He does some morning. He goes, answer your fucking phone next time. You're dropping down the 1. I fucking lost it.
It's hilarious.
It was the funniest thing.
It's literally, I don't know if the word transformed is the word I'm looking for, but even like with the voicemails. You remember the voicemails? Like I used to love getting voicemails like, you know, you play the music, you're like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey, this is Matthias. I can't come to the phone right now. If you leave me your name, number, and a brief message, I'll get back to you. You know, like we used to have these things, and now everything is social media. And I will tell you this: there's so many times where I run into somebody in public, and it's so embarrassing. You know, you follow people or they follow you back, and then it's almost like they don't even know you when you see them in person.
Yeah.
You know, and I've met a lot of people through social media because of their support for our podcast or jujitsu or whatever the source is. And like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, do we know each other? Nah, but my name is. So why the fuck wouldn't you lead off with like, hey, you know, I know we haven't met, but you know, so social media is really its own world. You know,
it really is. It could be so many things. It could be that's the thing about social media. Social media is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
In the sense that you make your world whatever your reality, whatever you want it to be your reality on social media. It doesn't necessarily have to be real.
Yeah.
I was rolling with somebody on Monster the other day, and he goes, "I know you." I was like, "I don't know you."
The fuck you do?
I go, "I don't know you." He's like, "You're Matthias's boy, right? You guys do the podcast together." I was like, yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I see you on social media." I was like, "Well, you don't know me. You know the pictures."
I know you.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Doesn't mean you know.
You almost make it seem like we know each other.
Media.
You know, I'm sorry, dude. I don't really know you, but I think it's
And to be honest, super great dude. I told you, he said hi. Like he knew Matthias, so he said, "Hey, say hi to Matthias."
And he's on our job too. You know,
ended up being a cool ass dude.
Listen, it could be a great icebreaker, right? Because sometimes somebody sees him, they're like, "Oh, I've seen that guy. I want to go approach him or whatever else." Social media can be so fantastic, right? Like we use it all the time when we travel. Anytime we travel, we look up where we're going, just because the people the influencers. They'll post pictures of where they've been, recommendations. We do it for parks here all the time. What parks are around? People post, oh, this new park just opened up. They just redid it. Or whatever else. Food. Anytime I'm looking at new equipment for a gun or something like that I own, I'm like, oh, okay. People, it can be fantastic. The problem is, how often do we use it? I use it for drywall, for plumbing, for electric. You can watch it, but you can't just believe everything you see. You got to see the right stuff. But that's not what a lot of people use it for. Right, a lot of people use it for an escape of their own, almost like what you.
It's entertainment.
Their own reality.
You know,
they want to escape what this is. It's almost VR without being VR. Right? Everyone was scared of VR. They're like,
and again, the algorithm, right? It becomes whatever you want it to become. Like he was going through some rough times, and his stuff was like completely sad. Now I'm like into crypto a lot, so now I started following a lot of guys and girls that talk about crypto. Did you see ours
reached like $950 yesterday, 2 days ago? The crypto we got, Federa. It reached like $950 the other day. I was like, oh.
It's going up.
I don't know anything about it, but my barbershop put me on this thing, and he owes me money. I don't know what the hell this is.
So it's very informative. Like, if you want it to be informative, it could be educational. It could be whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can create whatever world you want to create.
XRP, right?
XRP is like at $3 now.
$3.12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it for like $2 something, but.
All right, back to the social media.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is. We talk about the positivity and the negativity of it. You know, you're watching crypto. I don't know anything about it.
So, again, your algorithm starts sending you stuff. So, like, it sees me, like, not following these people that talk about crypto. So now everything I see is crypto this, crypto that, crypto. So it also becomes overwhelming because maybe I don't want to just know all about crypto. Like, there has to be a happy medium. Like, just because I'm looking at crypto doesn't mean that that's all I want to see on my algorithm. Yep. Just because I'm looking at thighs and ass and tits, that's not all I want to see. Like, I want to see an array of things. Like, don't just show me whatever you think that is what I want to see. Because maybe that day that's what I want to see. That doesn't mean that I want to see that every single day.
Every day.
Well, now you see how easy it is to go down that rabbit hole.
I fucking hate it. I hate it.
You could go down the rabbit hole, which is why you end up on the toilet for 20 minutes. Because if you got something that excites you, again, we're not mental health experts, but look at the levels of cortisol that are going up and down when you're in a certain environment, right? So if you're looking at shit on social media, it does. You feel the physiological response of watching a fight on social media or a shooting. I mean, let's talk about that video we saw a couple of weeks ago about the woman on the subway. I watched that being a cop. I don't remember that.
Shit.
That fucked me up watching that, Do you remember that?
That was burned
the woman that was burned alive on the subway,
There's definitely things that are on that really we shouldn't be. It does create this desensitization. It shouldn't be
100%. 100%.
There's no reason. I mean, we see stuff like that, and a lot of times we're like, all right, that's.
But that's the thing. I remember back, I guess now I'm gonna sound old. Back in my days, like people weren't recording. If somebody was getting, let's say, beat up by a group of people, somebody would try to jump in or try to, even if not to help fight, but to at least break it up or spread people around. That's not a thing anymore. People see somebody on fire and they rather record it so that they can have the social media
to get the
so they can get the likes
and
become somewhat popular. And now it has desensitized people to the point where people just don't give a shit about other people, other humans.
We talk about it at the Academy. You know, one of the topics we talk about in ethics is active and passive bystandership. You know, active meaning, hey, somebody's going to help you out. You see a fight, you try to step in, you try to help out. Passive is that person obviously recording. You know, so for me, like for the people that were on the subway and they're watching that happen, listen, us being first responders, even in the military, or being used to like the trauma, in my head, I was like, all right, I'll take my jacket off, I'll put it over them. But you even saw police officers kind of walking back and forth. And I always say the same thing. I go, if you've never been in their shoes, you can't really talk about it, right? Because you do go into shock. You know, all those people were in shock. When I saw the video, this woman was like this.
She's still
and I was like, oh, she died standing up. Well, God bless her. And all of a sudden she starts moving. And I'm like, she's still alive. She's burning alive. And I'm thinking those poor people that were there. And then I'm like, I'm fucking watching this on the phone. The poor people that are just flicking through their algorithm, and then they get that video.
And at least for us, let's talk about like some triggers that it causes even for law enforcement. We've all seen, smelt things that people should not smell, or see, or feel. I can smell what that would have smelled like.
It never goes away. Once you smell the one time.
So watching that video, again. It could be the bad for social media. It brought me to a place where I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. The dangers of social media, right? You're looking at something, just scrolling, looking, and then you're like, okay, this has now got me in a deep spot. It wasn't because of the video. It's because of the sensory it brought with it of just watching. And I think that's one of the problems for first responders that we need to be very, very careful of is, you know, a lot of people will see these videos of civilians and they'll go, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that. Like, that's fucked up. That's crazy. Yeah. A lot of them will go about, especially like you just said, like a lot of them now today will just go on their way. Some may be a little scarred from it or, oh my God, traumatized. We're on a different plane with stuff like this. And I think a lot of cops fail to understand that and see that is the things we watch and we see are going to directly affect us in a whole different way. And if we're not careful, it can definitely lead to further issues, whether that's the anxieties and going down the rabbit hole now, or depression, or PTSD. Because what does that lead to, right? A lot of times, alcohol abuse or drugs abuse, or something along those lines. Poor decision making because you're caught up in your feels, you're caught up in your head. So I think, you know, watching those videos, as when you're looking at it from the outside in. Like you said, a lot of people, the fact that we don't step in anymore is crazy. For this, I mean, I gotta get Joe Schmo isn't gonna go tackle a bird lady.
That you see it now so often. It's like somebody's getting beat up. You're seeing these videos. That means somebody's actively watching and actively deciding and choosing to not do a damn thing other than record. You can be getting killed and somebody's recording it just so they can get the likes, just so they can get the views, and not give a damn care in the world about your life or how you're going to be. It does not matter to people. And social media has created that. That wasn't a thing. People didn't give a shit about likes because there was no such thing about likes. People were actually legitimately trying to help people because there were good human beings out there. And not saying that there's not good human beings out there now. There are. But it seems, especially with social media, where more often than not, people are choosing to just record as opposed to actively help somebody, which is crazy to me.
Now, do you think that's partly Daniel Penny? The vet that
the guy in the subway.
I think that definitely had a negative effect. And again, this is where social media can be a positive because nobody would know what happened in his case without social media, right? Nobody would actually have seen what firsthand happened without social media. So again, we're kind of turning it back to a positive. You know, for those of you who don't know, he essentially stood up. He had an erratic homeless male who was threatening people
to kill people.
Daniel Penny was a Marine vet, right?
Yeah.
So he was. Subdued the male who ended up passing away, was facing charges, and then beat the charges. Thank God, right? He was watching the video.
That's because Uncle Donnie came in
Hey, made it work.
He was going to get free. He was going to get pardoned, no matter what.
But still, so like if people see that, and then people in Good Samaritans, and they see, well, why am I going to stand up and help if this is what I'm going to face? This is what I could go for.
Politics.
Politics is definitely a huge thing.
Yes.
And I would go now and be the devil's advocate, and not saying that he did it on purpose. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but he did kill somebody, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when it turned into a negative. Had he beat the crap out of that guy and the guy would have survived, I don't think it would have made the national news. I don't think it would have been such a bad. And again, maybe he didn't know that he was holding him a little longer than he should have. If you don't have the specific training to know when to let go,
right?
Which probably was in his case. And again, I think he did a great deed. If you ask me, I think he did exactly what I would hope more people would do.
Yeah.
Again, I'm on his side. But I'm just saying, like, yes, it had a negative effect. But it also, like you said, it had a positive effect because people got to see it.
Yes.
He walked because they didn't find that he did anything maliciously.
Yep.
Social media could be such a weird place.
It's tough because you know what? It doesn't come with
instructions.
Like instructions, right? It doesn't give you this emotional breakdown because we talked about emotions, throughout our episodes, and we've brought on people, and we're going to continue to bring on people to talk about, their rough days and their journeys and everything else. But the reality is this: is like we're just now learning how to be emotionally intelligent. We're learning to breathe, dude. I can't tell you how blessed I am. I just give praise to God every stinking day, because one of the biggest things that I had a problem with was Tiana. I talked about
I was like, Angel?
Not with Angel.
He's touching Angel's shoulder.
I've talked about this. I've talked about this in previous episodes when I brought up you got to go ahead and start a fight right here.
It's gonna be a domestic issue here.
It's funny because the camera's on. You almost got shot.
You need to aim a little higher. You need to aim a little higher.
The only person I know that carries in his own home while he's doing stuff.
This guy carries everywhere.
I know.
Regardless, listen. So I talked about Tiana, right?
Somebody comes into this house.
Bathroom.
I got your
bathroom.
Everywhere.
I'll do your phone.
It'll be. Hey, all bullshit aside, it will be like that skit with I believe it was Cat Williams. It was Kevin Hart. Yeah, he goes. Oh,
the bathroom.
Safe department, glove compartment, whatever it was.
That's me.
That's Angel.
I have got everywhere in this house. Yes.
I was saying about giving praise to God because I asked him to give me patience, right? I talked about the story with Tiana where I picked her up and I was like vibrating. I couldn't react to her. And now my son is like, even though that sounds crazy saying that, my son, 5 days old, my son will start wailing. And obviously, what does he want? He wants to eat. He wants the titty.
Yep.
He took a shit or a piss. He needs a diaper change, or he wants to be held for a little bit, But now instead, those screams and those yells are just now kind of like, all right, buddy, okay. And as I talked about this with Megan, she's like, you're about to be 36 years old.
God damn.
You were 40.
God damn.
She's like, you were 24 years old when you had Tiana.
Yeah.
It's such a huge. I was 24. I know you were like 12. 13.
How? 21.
21?
I was 21.
All right, a couple of years younger than
me. 21.
But you do have this. You have this emotional growth throughout these years, and I really just I give thanks because I was scared. I was super anxious that I was going to have this baby in my arms and not know what the fuck to do again. And I was scared that Megan was going to do like the doctor visit stuff, and she left. She's like, "Here's a bottle. If he starts crying, try to hold out as long as you can because I don't want to give him the bottle yet." Yeah. I'm like, okay. So I'm like looking at the bottle like, if I grab this bottle and I feed this baby, the screaming and the yelling goes away. Or I can figure other things out. So now I'm changing positions. I'm putting him on my shoulder. I'm rocking. I'm singing. I'm bouncing. I'm laughing. I'm trying to figure out ways. The old me would have just lost it. So with the transition of social media, yes, we all have the app. We pull it up. We want an algorithm that's going to show us happy videos. Mm-hmm. And if you go down the rabbit hole long enough with
dopamine drop,
anything, that's all it is, a dopamine hit, right? Yeah. And you're constantly seeking the dopamine hit all day long. It's the only thing it's like crack. Yep. It's got to be like drugs. I mean, I've never really did drugs, but it's the addiction.
You sure?
I'm positive.
You're saying it's like crack. Like, you must know something.
I'm assuming it's like crack, cocaine, whatever it is that you want to talk about. So obviously the research is there. That's what people are doing on social media is getting that dopamine hit. So for me, if we could at least talk to our children about the use of social media. You know, I tell my daughter all the time, she's on Snapchat, she's putting on the filters with the makeup and sitting with her friends. And I'm like,
Snapchat is fucking so scary.
why are you on Snapchat? Not to mention, I would like to think people understand this, but as police officers, once you send a Snapchat, does it truly go away?
No.
We have the ability to pull those videos back after they've been expired, after they've been deleted. We tell people that. We let them know that. You know? We let them know that. And they're still there.
For the perps.
You know?
We don't have the ability.
We don't have the ability. They know. Listen, they know because they talk to you about it. They go, look, I know I got my phone, whatever. Yeah, you got to get a search warrant. But they think they know this stuff, right? But you have this Snapchat. It expires. You have it. And then I tell people, do you know that when you screen record, it shows you? But what happens if you grab an iPad or you grab a telephone and you record the screen? It doesn't show anything. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like the Snapchat thing should be used only for entertainment, like send some filtered pictures or whatever. Once you start sending stupid shit, like it's going to come back up. Well, not to mention the videos people take on them. Like, how many times have you seen the shootings and the robberies and the shit that people are about to do before it goes down?
Even kids posting like, "Oh, I got my gun." They just posting the gun or whatever else. They send it to all their friends, and then one mom sees it and they're like,
what is that?"
And that's, again, social media just leads to horrific fucking decisions. And let's just dive into that part, right? We'll segue kind of from our generation to the newer generation. You're going to, and you are going to have, both of you guys are going to have the most experience in this, at least in the three of us. I'm terrified for my kids to start to do anything with social media for the reasons of they're easily accessible. You got AI now, right? You got all these things, but talk about the decisions being from your guys' standpoint, where the things that you worry about, what your kids see, how do you implement good social media safety with your kids, with your family, you know, trying to keep it honest with them? How do you guys, you know, because a lot of people who listen, maybe parents, maybe struggling with their teen or preteen or whatever, dealing with stuff like this. Like, give some advice to the people listening from your guys' perspective.
It's easier said than done because I put a block on Tiana's iPad. So she has to ask for permission past a certain amount of time. If she's on the app, like if she's on a Snapchat or YouTube or whatever, she has to ask permission to go on those things through the phone. So it sends me a text like that I have to approve. But again, easier said than done because the problem isn't at home. It's when they're with their friends. Right. It's when they're away from their home. It's like cursing, right? For example, I already gave your son $1 today for saying fuck, you know? So for me, like I might be telling my kid like, hey, no cursing. Hey, do your homework. Hey, okay, my student's a scholar kid, but those are the kids that unfortunately now go to their friend's house and they're a completely different person.
Right. Susceptible to this bad
you talked about trauma. You know, obviously being where I'm at in the police department and hearing stories of the newer cops going to these calls, which again, let's talk about readiness or preparedness for the mental health world that they're about to enter. We've had new police officers who've never had any prior law enforcement, military. Maybe they worked at Taco Bell, Best Buy. They've never been to this exposure of trauma. And they go, Matt, you're right. You know, we talk about these things with suicide. And I'm not really sure like that I would be able to say what I'm saying now, but I responded to a 15-year-old girl hanging. So now all I can think about is my fucking daughter hanging from a fucking roof because I'm thinking about the things that other kids have done. Right. And it's like the parents, how could they have prevented that? You know, you and I just talked about a case that some of our guys responded to. You know, it's like, why?
To bring it to the social media aspect, and again, for law enforcement, we're susceptible to this all day, every day. Because even when we watch and go on social media, I guess, you know, fuck the kids, we're going back to our point. You know, we're going to watching videos. It's just constantly putting us back into that memory hole. It's constantly putting us back into the things we've seen, the things we've dealt with. And sometimes it's great because you could watch training points. You know, you could watch a video. Oh, I like they did this. It was a really good technique. That was really good room clearing. What was the mass shooting, the one in Massachusetts, where with the transgender that ended up shooting up the school? Mm-hmm. And it was like the team of 3 that went in. I think the guy was a Marine. They cleared everything and took the shot. Fantastic. I showed it to all my new guys. I would make it a point to show it to my PPOs. I was like, watch this, study this, because this is to the T what you need to do. Sometimes it would be great. And then you watch another one is somebody running into a car crash and there was a baby ejected. And I'm like, well, A, why is this even on social media? And then B, again, it's putting you in a spot where well, now I'm back in this memory lane, I'm back in this memory lane. And again, it brings us back to the point we had before. Social media can be so harmful for first responders, especially when you are trying to maybe do the right thing. I follow street cop training. They were doing great for, just going over Supreme Court things, stuff like that. So there's beneficial aspects you can get. We have to be very careful. We're a very targeted group when it comes to stuff like this, because the things that we're going to see are things that we are so used to seeing, but the things that are really affecting us the most.
And Dennis is the man. He said he'd be more than happy to come on the show, and talk about a few of these topics, of how that light, that beam is on us in different type of training. And again, we're not mental health experts, but you just talked about the videos and what they can do to you. I don't know if you read the same articles, but I've read that it says that our brains can't decipher, it can't figure out if we're actually in something bad or whatever, because our bodies are feeling it, right? So when we go to these calls, when we see this stuff, when we have those smells, when we have these memories, I think I might have said in the back, it's like a Rolodex, right? It spins and it finds the memory and it brings it to the front of your memory bank to remind you of what this is, to keep you safe. But if you don't know that that's what's going on, you freak out. So now when I'm watching these videos on the computer, the first thing I do is I start watching the video with the volume down, or volume off, because I'm like, I already know I'm going to hear some shit is going to trigger me.
Volume is one of the worst things. That, like, when you watch horror movies, a lot of people listen, they'll think like, oh, I'm going to close my eyes, I don't want to see it. It's the sound.
It's the sound.
You turn off the sound, it drastically changes how your body and your mind reacts to almost anything. And almost think of some of the calls we've been to. You're hearing screaming. You're going through, you can hear body movements. You can hear all these different things. That's what brings you back to moments. Get rid of those sounds, and you're walking through a hallway. You can see blood. You can see these things, but you're like, okay, well, I'm seeing, I'm walking through. I don't know. That sound, that's the smell and the sound, and obviously taste, but we're not really tasting, hopefully, a lot of the things that we see and do. I think are two of the biggest influences when we are dealing with our calls. But again, when you go back to watching social media and things like that.
Look at the snake video. Have you guys seen the video where they put the baby with the snake? I think it's a python or something, and the baby's like stroking the python.
It doesn't know danger.
It doesn't know danger. So the doctors were saying, the psychologists were saying, the parents are freaking out and stuff, and they go, the child is just sitting there like laughing and joking and petting it and hitting it and stuff, and the kid had no fear. But if I see a snake,
it doesn't know any better.
It doesn't know any different.
Yeah, it thinks it's a dog.
It thinks
it's something.
It's a thing, right?
It doesn't know that it can hurt him. It doesn't know that it can kill him. It doesn't know that it can swallow him.
Right.
It doesn't know anything. It's just like.
So now when you watch these videos, and again, I don't know where I'm going with this, but you watch these videos and you might think, I've watched enough jiu-jitsu videos, and I'm sure you have too, and Angel has too, to go, I could definitely do that move. And then I try to put it on somebody who's moving.
Never works.
You can't put that dude in a move. I was like watching Omoplata videos. I was watching, Kimura's. I'm like, I got this. And then I try to grab the guy. I don't got this. So now imagine how many times people have probably done these stupid.
Lack of training.
What's that? Lack of training. Hey, I'll give you that, man. You know what? You're absolutely, when you're right, you're right. I have been slacking. But that's besides the point.
Excuse for it.
It's not an excuse. He's right. It's not an excuse. Right now I'm dealing with an infection in one of my legs, and I can wrap it up, I can gauze it, whatever. But when we're rolling, it lowers down. Yeah, so the doctor's like, dude, you got to put the antibiotics. If you get that, you're gonna get staph. I know. Yeah. Wah. I got to do better because there's other people doing it too. But what I'm trying to say is,
for you don't get staph.
It's all right. But what I'm trying to say is, if you watch these videos long enough, you talked about desensitization or whatever, right? How do you say that word?
Desensitization.
Desensitization.
Finally found the word that Matthias cannot pronounce.
I cannot pronounce it.
Desensitize.
Well.
What's the
Well, because I can say desensitize, but
there's no TH.
Desensitization. You're saying it wrong.
Can you say it again?
Desensitization.
Hey, it's a Latino. It's a Latino thing.
Now time for the viewer to take your turn.
Hey, go ahead and pause this and try to say desensitized.
Desensitized.
Hey, Mike Tyson over here, desensitized. All I'm saying is this: is now you watch these videos long enough and you think you got some kind of control or you have some understanding, and then you see it. They talk about with social media, the rise in the school shootings, the rise in depression, the rise in anxiety, the rise in everything after social media started, going through the roof is because why? Because we have this all day long.
There's
and
so much access to so much information
shit
at such a rapid pace that
And again, take the kids aspect into this, right? Like we can kind of see it, we can do it. Like, obviously, we're all addicted. Like you go watch it, we can put it down and go, okay, let's go out and do something. But the kids don't.
Because I've had many times where I didn't put it down.
So we can go put it down.
He was on the toilet for 30 minutes.
I'll give you a good point. When we grew up, we were always outside playing. I said that on my episode. You guys asked me how I was when I was younger, and I told you I was always outside, whether flying a kite, playing with freaking marbles, whatever it was that I was doing. I was always outside doing something, riding a bike, rollerblading, whatever it was.
Playing soccer,
always
wrestling,
outside, right? Like I was always outside. There's no such thing nowadays because all this information that these kids have, and they're always here like this the whole time. This is their life.
But they also don't want to. They don't want to go outside. They'd rather be on it.
Do you remember putting together like pickup football games like in the neighborhood?
But that's the problem.
Pick up ball. I was play ball for like 8 hours a day.
All they do is this now.
Yep.
This the whole day, and then you tell them, "Hey, let's go out. Let's do something. Let's go out to dinner." Oh, but why? I'd rather stay home because they'd rather do this. Because if they stay home and you take the phones, now they're miserable. They're like, "Can we do something? I'm bored." You weren't bored 10 minutes ago when you had your phone on your hand. Like,
dude, that was so much fun.
Now you're bored because you don't have this thing in front of your face going like this. Whether it's a phone, an iPad, iPod, whatever the hell it is that they get their information from, it's just they just have it here. And it's so much information at such a rapid pace. You can't beat social media at this point.
You literally brought me back down memory lane with marbles, bro. I could just picture them. The big one with the little ones with the little orange swirly blue thing. Dude, and they were different colors.
We had rubber bands where we used to slap them on the wall and then fall like on the other rubber band. There are so many.
You ever played football?
You ever played poggers?
There is so.
What was it?
Poggers?
Poggers?
Yeah, they're like little discs, like this big. You can get them in like a sleeve and you play them. No, I'm really
this big.
Yeah, that big.
Got it.
I hate you both.
But can you imagine trying to tell a 15-year-old today, "Hey, I bought you a bag of marbles"? They'd be like,
"What the fuck do I do with this?
What the fuck did I do? What did I do?
What did I do to you?
You remember the game Jacks where you had like the
bouncy ball? Yeah.
There's none of.
You remember that little thing? The little.
I have Parcheesi upstairs.
What was this called?
What was that thing?
Like origami.
Origami.
Yeah, but you like flip it up and then you get this answer.
There's no such thing nowadays.
Nah, bro.
Like now they come home and they're like, "Oh, look at what I just saw on social media." It's not like, "Oh, look at what I did in school." It's like, "Look at what I just saw on social media."
Even Bop It. I would spend like 30 minutes playing Bop It. You know, Bop It. Pull it.
Yep.
Twist it. Bop it.
Twisted.
Yeah, we have one upstairs.
Do you really?
Should definitely play that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just feel like the social media thing. It's helped in so many ways. And look what we're doing with our.
No, I'm looking at something. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying how many good things we've been able to accomplish through social media. We're able to record this podcast. We're able to get our message out there. We're able to reach so many different people and so many audiences. But at the same time, like I feel like we're at a different age now where you've seen it. I don't know if you noticed my post. I don't post. I used to post like every single day.
Yeah, you post way less.
I don't post.
Except for apparently the people that tell Angel that you post
too much. I post way too much.
But knowing that, yes, you do post less than you.
The stories I post random shit that I like because I am doing my doomsday scroll on the toilet or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I'll share it. But like post, you're trying to find words. And then I'm like, who the fuck am I posting for? Who am I trying to reach? You know, and
I think it's for you.
That's the wrong mentality to have because we've spoken about this.
I think it's for you.
I think you're more worried about the people that are saying that you post too much and not worried enough about the people that actually reach out to you because you did post something and they're like, man, your post helped me so much, or my wife is going through this. Can you come and speak to that person? My nephew's going through this. My son is getting his leg amputated or his toes amputated. Can you come and speak to that person? So you worry too much. And again, this is the social media effect, right? You're like, who am I writing this for? Because when I do post something, everybody's like, oh, you post so much and you talk so much and you do this so much. It's like, okay, there's those people. And then there's those people that are like, hey, Maddie, bro, thank you. I appreciate what you wrote today. Yeah. It definitely struck a chord with me. I needed to hear something like that today. And he has more of those people than the other people. So he's more worried about the ones that are the naysayers that are like, oh, my God, you're doing too much.
But that's common, though. There's a lot of people.
Fuck them.
But again,
it's your social. Fuck them. If they don't want to follow, fuck them.
A lot of police do that anyway.
Right?
Because I
if they don't want to follow you, unfollow.
Because there's
I do like how he hypes me up a little bit with that. even
Falco.
even with this thing that I was doing today, the rehearsal dinner for the Show Your Shine, I was in there.
Hey.
I was in there today. We have a special guest. I was sitting there talking to these kids, right? And Show Your Shine is an event that was put together by a lady named Jill and her brother Rob through Limkind Foundation. And these kids were born with a limb difference, right? Maybe it was an amputation, maybe it was a congenital thing. And when we had to speak and talk to these kids, I sit there and I look around the room and I'm listening to myself talk, and you almost feel like a fraud at times because I'm like, this place, the show, this has given me an opportunity to really give these kids a platform to think that they can do whatever it is that they want to do in their future. And then it's like, all right, well, look what I'm doing now. I'm setting the example for the kids. But then when I look at it with social media or people we work with or whoever it is, like you said, the naysayers, right, that these people are very supportive. The people in this organization are supportive. That's their goal, is to bring more influences to give these kids an opportunity to have like a role model, an example. So yes,
how did they discover you? By you posting on social media. That's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot worry about the people that are here talking about
100%.
You post too much.
No, 100%. You're right. We talked about that. Those people
don't matter.
That's kind of like that New Year's resolution. I said I was going to try to do that. I was going to try to, become confident enough. It took me a long time to become confident wearing shorts. Now I wear shorts all the time.
You got great legs.
Well, black from the waist down, but
Oh my God.
my legs are black.
Oh my God.
All I got to say is this: is that the positivity that we've created, in this group, right, in our little group here with the podcast and our family and our kids eating pizza and playing on Friday nights. That's what my daughter looks forward to on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's not going to spend the night at my friend's. Hey, are we going to Uncle Angel's? Are we going to Uncle Angel's? Are we doing the podcast? And I love that because you know what? She's not on the freaking phone. She wants to go outside. It's 3 degrees outside. She wants to go on the trampoline with the girls. She wants to watch a movie. They want to go in the pool. They want to go in the fireplace. They want to do marshmallows. And those are the things that we're kind of keeping them away from that typical social media. We're going to be on the iPad all day long.
So you already gave her permission to have social media?
No. As a matter of fact, she's probably one of the only kids that I've heard in her grade that still doesn't have a phone.
But I think that
I love
that. She's pissed.
So my girls have a phone, right? Because they go places, and when we were doing cheerleading with them, like they were in the competitions and they were in the back where we couldn't see them for hours, and I was like, I cannot be without communication with my kids.
Can't do something you can't see them.
I need to communicate with my kids somehow.
Right.
But the social media aspect, they come here, my 10-year-old, which is the little one. Oh, my friend has Snap, and she has Instagram, and she has Facebook, and she has this, and she has that. I was like, well, good for them.
Yep.
Can I get it? No. Why not? Because I said no.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to shield them as much as possible. As much as possible. I'm trying to shield them from social media as much as possible. Give them, again, they can have a phone because you need to text, you need to call.
Hi, Padrino.
I need to.
Hi, baby.
Exactly.
What are you doing? I'm sitting watching TV. Whatever.
So I don't mind the phone. What I do mind is the social media. Like, okay, you're going to have a phone. What you're not going to have is social media.
Yeah.
TikTok was something that just kind of took the United States by storm, and probably why we're having this conversation today, because so many things that you can find on TikTok.
But you know what I love? Sorry, I don't want to, because TikTok now has a stem on it. So it's like the TikTok where the nonsense, but the stem, like
you can't even
learning and all that shit.
You can't even download it nowadays. So if you don't have it, you don't.
No, it's bad.
They just
not on the App Store.
Oh,
it's back for the people that had it installed on their phone.
So
it's back for the creators that had them on.
Yeah.
But if let's say I wanted to again, if I want to decide to now be a creator, I'm going to show you right now.
Which is good.
I'm going to show you in the App Store. You can't find it.
What is that STEM?
So STEM is, I don't know what it actually stands for.
I just saw it right here.
Acronym.
It's STEM, but it's all education based. There's mathematics, there's science, there's physics.
I see that.
And
but who the hell are these people, and are they credible? That's the problem.
I mean, listen, I don't know how that.
I just typed TikTok on it.
That's awesome.
You can't find it. So if you don't have it installed on your phone, you will not be able to download it, which is great. I've never had it on my phone. I don't think I'll ever have it on my phone. I could care less about TikTok.
Well, the only reason I have it on my phone is because I post and I literally go right off it. I'm like, I don't need this in my life. I don't need to do this shit. All right, so let's dive into our habits as police, because I think a lot of cops are very into social media, especially night's a little slow. What are we going to do? You talk to the old timers, like, oh, I do a crossword puzzle. I get out, walk around. I go talk to people. All right, guys, what do you do? And I see it. I drive by, my guys, and you look through the window, and you just see. They're just literally, it's up in their face. They're not even seeing the cars drive by. The thing's just up, and they're staring at the fucking phone.
Driving.
It is such a dangerous thing, especially for us, because we're not Joe Schmo sitting in a parking lot waiting for a train. Oh, I'm 5 minutes early. Oh, fuck it. I'm going to go on my phone.
Yeah.
You're not just supposed to be protecting the public, but you're putting yourself at danger. You don't know what's walking up behind you, next to you, what's walking up in front of you. So it's just such a danger for us that we get so buried in our phones and we get so buried into social media. Again, we need to think of ourselves not on a pedestal, but we're not everyday people that get to just sit and watch this stuff. We don't get to just sit and be on our phones while we're at work or while we're waiting 10 minutes for something to happen. Listen, I get it. You're not going to be attentive for 12 hours.
But this comes into the human effect, right?
Correct.
Because now we have social media on our phones, and now we're so consumed by social media that unfortunately we are humans, and there's going to be a time where you will grab your phone and you are going to look at social media.
100%. I'm not saying
you need that dopamine.
My point with it is really for people to kind of go in.
Dopamine is what you need. My man don't sleep.
Is go and look at their usage, right? So that's my whole point. I'm not saying that. Listen, I do it too. You'll sit there and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to go and scroll for 5 minutes. I need to just disassociate with whatever's happening. Maybe I went to a call, or I'm bored, or just something happened." But police yourself with it. Go in. What's your usage? How long do you use the social media for? What are you looking at? Because if you can even just set a timer on your phone, set a timer. All right, I'm going to go on. I'm going to use social media for 5 minutes. Once my timer goes off, I'm going to put it down. Even if you're still bored sitting somewhere, okay, cool. Book, crossword, study. When's the last time a lot of people were like, you know what? I'm going to take a read for the penal law or the VTL. Of CPL.
Funny you mentioned that. I actually study on my phone.
Me too.
All the time.
Me too.
Well, now you do.
All the time. No. Always study on my phone.
But that's
all the
not
time.
a lot. But I think that's an anomaly. That's not a lot.
Because I want to stay up on the updates.
Correct.
Just because something was good a year ago doesn't mean that it's good today.
Correct.
And we know that the laws change a lot, especially in New York, because we got horrible politicians, freaking Dems. But whatever. I'm not going to get into politics. That's not my topic.
But that's the point of it.
My Uncle Donnie's back. All right.
Is to try and really take.
I was trying to find the usage on the phone, because, it shows you.
It's things like in your insights or something. It's right in that spot. Because, again, I think, it takes you away from it. So you're not going through this dopamine hit for 20, 30, 45 minutes, because then that's what also brings on anxiety, because you're sitting there chasing that same dopamine effect and you're just sitting there, okay, I'm going to go on social media. I'm looking. Now you're going double the length and you're still not getting it. That does create anxiety. Your mind is searching for that same chemical effect. It's just not getting it.
But when I am studying, just to go back to you saying now, when I am studying, I do take out my social media, because in my mind, if I have 5 minutes to look at social media at some point, that means I have 5 minutes
to study.
You ever watch Big Bang
Theory? I completely take it out.
Penal law, criminal procedure law, New York traffic, New York laws, case law, PTS. I got it. Hey, by the way, PTS, we're up. Let's go.
You got the
NY comes out on Sunday.
Yeah, the NYPD
comes out on Sunday.
I actually tell all my new guys to download those two apps.
Session 1 is not out.
What is this?
No, Session 1 comes out on Sunday.
What does it say?
I have no idea what you have.
It's supposed
Session 1.
It's supposed to drop on Sunday.
It's supposed to drop on Sunday, my friend.
For those of you who don't know,
look at your app.
They're PTS.
My boy's ready to study. You got all 15, by the way.
And Police Tutorial Services was fantastic when studying. When I took it the first time, the first time supervisor test. Did they all at once?
They just recently did.
I just told you.
They're supposed
to. Usually they only do it once. Last time
no. I think they only drop. Oh yeah, no, they dropped a bunch of them. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
No, but I think what's gonna happen is
They messed up?
Yeah, I think somebody messed up.
That person's getting fired.
Somebody.
They're probably on social media while they do it.
Hey, don't post this until after the test so we can.
No, I mean, this is study material. It's not giving you test answers or anything.
Obviously, but I'm just saying they usually don't give it to you all at once.
No, they drop it like every weekend. They'll drop one session.
Yeah.
So
we got to get to it, buddy.
I'm on it.
Get to it, fellas.
I'm on it.
So, I mean, I think at this point, we kind of beat the social media aspect into the.
Yeah, again, it could be social media is just its own world, and it could be whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be positive, it's going to be positive. If you want it to be negative, it's going to be negative. If you want it to be informative, it's going to be informative. It's whatever you want to make it.
I was waiting for him to say another word. It's going to be black if you want it to be black. It's going to be white if you want it to be white. It can be funny if you want it to be funny. It can be scary if you want it to be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it could be whatever you want. And unfortunately, there's people that believe everything they see on social media. And you have these influencers that have made a living off of social media. They have made it to where now they get paid to go places and review things, and they live this lavish lifestyle, and people think that they have to follow that lavish lifestyle.
That's reality.
And if you don't have the money to follow those lavish lifestyle, maybe you might want to get your poor ass a freaking job and work so you can maybe live that lifestyle at some point in time. Like, I don't have that kind of money to be traveling every 2-3 weeks to freaking Abu Dhabi and whatever else.
Oh, man, I wish.
Well, at some point, don't worry. I'm not there yet, but at some point I'll get there.
We'll be there.
You know, I'm not worried. So everything happens on your own time, and that's the problem. Everything happens on your own timeline. Social media has made it to where you feel like you have to rush to things because you see other people doing it, and that's not how it should be. It should be at your own timeline and whenever you can do it. Just because you got a freaking Porsche or a Jaguar or a Lambo, don't mean that I gotta go get a Porsche or a Jaguar or a Lambo. If I can't afford it, I can't afford it. But social media has made it to where now you have something and I feel like I have to have it. But why?
Yep. No, I agree.
But why? I'll drive my 1999 Honda Civic.
Yep.
I don't have a Honda. I hate Hondas. I'm just saying. I'm just saying I don't have to have whatever everybody else has.
Yep.
You know? I honestly dislike Hondas.
So I got a question for you guys. It's not based off of social media, and for the listener, it's not that you have to answer it, but it's something I love this question because I think people answer it and then they really kind of will sit with it.
You get to learn yourself.
Themselves a little bit. Are you happy?
Am I happy?
Are you happy? And I think again, I think for the viewer, kind of take some time after this because we're almost done at this point, anyways. Take some time and really ask yourself: are you happy? Are you happy with wherever you are, family, home, financial, whatever it may be?
If you're happy,
and really be honest with yourself, because that's the only way that you're going to find out more about you, your mentality, and then what can you do for it. And I ask that because taking it all now back to social media, some of the answers we got on the TikTok page of, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. The job, if you ask yourself, are you happy? And you instantly say, no. And the answer is why? And well, I have anxiety, depression, whatever else. And it goes back to the job, but you don't want to lose the job. The job shouldn't create your happiness, but it definitely shouldn't take it away.
But that's the thing, like, we can't tell what somebody should be happy
about.
No, if I'm happy because I'm happy with my job now, like maybe some people come out of situations where their jobs, they had a shitty boss or a shitty job and they weren't happy there. Now they got a new job and now they are happy because of their job. Hey, listen, happiness is happiness no matter how you find it.
But my point is your job.
I've been dropping gems all day.
Being on the job should not be what's going to make you happy or not happy. And if you're saying no, well, because of my job, well, what is it? Because we all have supervision and everything else that's not ideal. We all have stressors at home, whether it's a newborn child, being you in general. we all have
I'm
things.
pretty happy.
You are
I would
happy.
say.
We all have things, right, where you can look like if your main thing is you are unhappy and you correlate towards the job, but your excuse is I don't want to lose the job. The job isn't, in my opinion, the job's not worth your life and your happiness. And that's my point. Because on the social media aspect we got, on the messages we got, that's some of the message I got from people was basically the job is the life. Like I'm not going to sacrifice the job, but I'm going to continue to be depressed, unhappy, deal with these, whether what they're self-proclaimed, whether it was sexism or issues like if I do this, I'm going to face retaliation type of thing.
I don't think that's a thing.
Ageism? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ageism?
Are you serious right now?
I don't know.
It's a protected class.
I know, but isn't there like an actual terminology besides ageism?
I mean, maybe, but ageism.
Put your head.
Yeah.
So I want to order.
Do you know what I mean by that?
I want an order of happiness.
Do you know what I mean by that?
With a side order of PTSD, sprinkle a little bit of depression and anxiety on it, and to go, please.
And then my last one is, and I love this. I heard this, and I love this quote so much. Allow those around you the opportunity to fail you.
Allow those around you
the opportunity to fail you.
You fail, you're done.
A lot of people.
Bye.
Well, again, reach out, and this is something we've talked about. Hug your bros, reach out.
That's
to the
not
people around
true.
you. They don't. A lot of people fail to.
It all depends what the failure is.
Let people in. Really open up and have, because I would do anything for my buddies to have just reached out once.
Yeah.
So I could talk to them. Let me fail you.
Of course.
If you're going through something, let me fail you. Put your faith in me that I can try to help. And if I don't, let me fail you. Don't just go on without at least giving me a shot. And that's
but even before you make any decisions on somebody failing you, it depends on what the failure is. If you tell me, hey, Angel, I'm going to pick you up at 12, and you pick me up at 12:05, 12:06. All right, you failed me with the 12.
No,
doesn't mean I'm going to become your enemy now.
No, but again, my context with this is when you're in that deep, dark spot, when you're going through something, reach out to the people next to you. Allow them the opportunity to let you down or to fail you, because that could be very well the person that does not and helps you get through whatever moment you're going through. And more often than not, maybe that is somebody on social media.
There's two things. One, I think we've heard this, and if you haven't, I think it's a gem, as Angel puts it. Did you have a bad day, or did you have a bad 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Or did you have a bad 10 minutes? Because the reality is like when you wake up in the morning, you're already so freaking tired from even waking up that you're like, here we go again. I'm anxious again. I haven't slept in 3 days. I haven't whatever. Why don't you give yourself a chance? Let your day start going. That's number one. Number two, you talk about failure or failing somebody. I don't know if we've discussed this on the podcast, but when I was going through my divorce, his girls were my world. I love them. I love his daughters like they're my own. And he said one thing to me that it literally was like turning a switch. And that's all he had to say. Ask him. He'll tell you. He called me, goes, I don't give a fuck what you're going through. These kids love you and they keep asking about you and you don't want to fucking show up. You tell them why you're not showing up. Mm-hmm. That's all he said. He's like, bye. Yep. And I literally just sat there going, I was at his house all the time. Always.
Yeah.
We were always at his old house when he lived in Bayshore. Yep.
I was further, and yet he used to come around more.
I was there like every other day, all the time. I'd just walk in the house, like unlike now where I got to, do some magic tricks to get through.
I just thump my ass.
Yeah, well, I try, but it's like,
now
it doesn't let me.
Not even a mile away, and he hardly shows up.
Whoa, hold the fuck up. I'm here every week, all right?
Now, yeah.
Ask him how many times he's been in my house, but regardless of the situation, all right, he basically was like, I don't give a shit what you're going through right now. This is not the time for you to pull away from the people that love you and give you this peace, outside of everything else, And I did. I used to go to his house and he'd talk to me. He'd bring me back down. He'd be like, it's okay. You're going through this. You're not alone. You figure it out. Dude, the divorce thing was tough, because I'm not from New York. So she's all I really had here besides the friends that I built. So I think that's a good example of thinking about failing somebody or giving somebody an opportunity to fail and grow from that, because it never was the same. I have their numbers. I text them. Angeline texts me. Naya texts me. Khalees called me the other day and goes, Dio, I'm so happy you got your boy. It's like having a conversation with one of my own children.
Grown ass adult.
She's a grown ass adult. She's in college. And she's texting me. Yep. This is awesome.
She'll call me. I'm like, what's up, baby? And she'll just, going to class, going to do whatever. Right. And I just have a full-on conversation with her. I'm like, okay.
So I think those are the moments that you have an opportunity to grow from a friendship, to see who you have, the relationships you have. I I fucking ordered because we, you know, I don't know if I even told you this, how we order pizza here.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. Meg's getting ready to
You don't
deliver.
tell me because I eat it every time.
No, listen to this.
I fucking order the pizza because Meg's like, oh, well, I don't want to go out tonight. So I order like the rice balls, the pizza, the soups or whatever. And it's like, it's delivered. I'm like, where the fuck is it? I'm checking the garage, the front
you got
door.
it delivered here?
He delivered it here. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm sorry.
Funny enough, now on my end, now we get this delivery here, and I'm like, because he left it. He didn't even like ring the bell. Like he left it in the front, but I saw the notification that somebody was there. So I grabbed the box and I started looking at everything. I was like, I don't order anything, but thank you to whoever sent it. 2 seconds later, Matthias like, bro. And then from there,
so
how much did you eat?
He shows up. I go, dude, I'm gonna come pick it up. You know, I'll be there in a little bit. He goes, I gotta go to work. He's like, no. Actually, I don't feel good. This is my first day off. I said, all right, no problem. Just leave it out. I'll pick it up. He's like, bro, I got you. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. I'll come get it. He's like, no, I got you. So he shows up to my house. Not to mention it just snowed and it was all ice. The motherfucker's walking out there with a little box and stuff. And I'm just thinking, like, how lucky am I that I have friends that are willing to do shit like that? You know, because how many people would be like, come pick it up?
Yeah.
I got you.
I have the buy, bro.
What pizza?
We were actually looking at everything. Carol saw the rice balls. Like we're talking about the food. And we're like, I don't know who said this, but we're about to eat this. Somebody around here about to be hungry.
I fucking love it.
I think it's just powerful, you know, to be able to, like you said, let the person fail you, and then they have to acknowledge it too, you know, because there might have been a time that maybe I wouldn't have recognized what he was trying to tell me, and I wouldn't have felt like shit. I'm like, hey, you're lost. Fuck you. You don't want to be my friend? So be it. You know, but I felt it. I felt it in my heart. I was like, yo, those kids are like the world to me. My daughter loves them. They're like my nieces. Like, I gotta apologize for this. Yeah. You know, and it was hard, right? Like the first couple of times I saw him, it was kind of awkward. I was like, damn, he kind of put me in my place. and I can't even fucking I'm
that guy.
No pun intended. I had no leg to stand on. You know, I was like, well,
that guy that will put you in your place.
Hey, it is what it is. You know.
So on that one, you know, through everything we talked about, I think there's a lot to take away. You know, if you really want to take away from it, and it's social media can be a very good thing, but social media can also be something that, again, especially for police and military, can send you to a very dark place very, very easily. Yeah. So just be careful of what you're doing. Try it.
Change your algorithm. If you don't like what you're seeing, look for something different.
Set an alarm.
It works, right?
Ask Angel what he's looking at so he can send you the good algorithms.
I'm known for having good vibes. That's all I'm going to say.
Let me see the algorithm real quick. Let me see your phone.
Set an alarm. Set an alarm. You know, give yourself a time limit. Try and work through these things. Better yourself. Again, give those around you an opportunity to fail. Right? Give those around you the opportunity to step up and really, whether it's call you out, be part of your family, help you through the struggles. Because if you don't, the alternative, I think that loneliness really isn't worth it. Just finding those people around you to help carry that weight will lead you to more places, I think, than you know.